She's killing me over here.
Well, we don't have really an audience, so.
Right. Sure. You're right. We only have 30 subscribers, so it's not like.
No, I mean, they're not physically here, which.
She just took a shot at us, George.
No, if they were all here, then I'd be nervous.
Yeah, well, that's fine. They're not here.
It's good that they're not here.
All right, here we go. So another episode of Taberne Talks. Rolling at you straight. Today we got a good one. Social media power is in the house. I mean, there's a reason why I picked this guest. She knows her stuff. She is well known in the Philly market. Does Jersey work too, which is awesome. I found that out about her, and she knows her stuff. So we're really going to try to find out how she uses social media to get the attraction that she gets every day, and how she uses that in her business. So we're with Basha Bubel, right?
Yep.
With KW. I didn't butcher that. See, it's good.
Yeah.
And she's going to give us her background first. We're going to roll from there. And she's going to tell us a little bit about how she got here and where she's going.
So I initially got into real estate to do investing, and that's all that I wanted to do. And so my journey in real estate started in 2016, 2017, and I flipped a house. And that was by far the best education that I ever got.
Now, did you flip a house before you owned a house?
No, that's it. That was my first
house.
That
was so you lived in it?
No. Sorry. That was the first purchase that I made, and I flipped it. But it was a foreclosure. It was not livable.
Okay.
So that was the first house that I bought, the first house I ever owned.
A foreclosure that's not livable. It sounds like a fun deal.
In Willingboro, New Jersey.
Oh.
And
does anybody know where Willingboro is? If you do, you'll know.
I learned all about Levitt, who built that town. And then he also built Levittown in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Levittown in Long Island.
Okay.
And I learned pretty much everything about housing from that house. So that was the best education. I only made $10,000 on that, but that was the best education that I made money. Only $10,000 that I made money on.
Right. No, that's good. That's good.
So when I finished that, I really wanted to buy another property, but I saw me not having a license as a hindrance.
Right.
Because if you're shopping for a deal, you need to go into 50 houses.
Right.
And they're, you're looking at $70,000 houses, $120,000 houses. It's
all
not
range.
It's not fair to the agent to do that. And it's also a bottleneck. I need to get in there and not wait for the agent. I need to just get in there and see my own houses.
Sure.
So that's why I got my license.
Beautiful.
And then things changed for me, my financial situation. And then I couldn't invest anymore. So I had to do something full time to make money. And I did not want to go back to an office. I would do anything but go back to an office. So,
although right now I'm kind of like wanting to go back to an office. Like I'm getting bored not being in an office, which is crazy, I know.
Yeah. Well, you mean in an office, but still doing the same work?
Still doing the same work.
Okay. I mean like going to work for a corporation.
That's totally different work. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I got my license to, I needed to make money. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this well. I know a lot about housing and, still wanting to do
so you had a
investing.
background.
But yeah, so then I just went in full force, and then I bought my second property.
Now, was this still before the pandemic or was this during the pandemic?
I got licensed in late summer of 2018 in Jersey, and then Pennsylvania in 2019. And then I bought my first duplex, my first rental property in 2019.
2019. So before the pandemic.
Yeah. Yep. Right. And then my career didn't really take off until the pandemic.
Obviously. Right. I think that's about 90% of the agents that are in the market. Right. Yeah. We know that well.
Yeah.
So you took off then, right? In the pandemic, you went nuts. Worked.
Yeah.
How many deals? I don't even want to.
Yeah. It was a lot. I mean, I've sold like 108 units, and majority of them have been in the last 3 years.
That's great. Right. So those are not rookie numbers. Those are big numbers. And would you say majority in Jersey or PA, or was it just half and half? Or
I would say it's a good half and half. I mean, probably I saw the most in South Philly. I've kind of wanted to position myself there
Yeah.
and kind of be the queen of South Philly.
Right.
I know I have a lot of competition,
A
especially
ton.
in the old school agents who
I
have
know.
been in South Philly for a
I
long
know them
time.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough to crack.
But yeah, equal amount
And then
Jersey
you put yourself
PA.
with KW, which
Yes,
is the South Philly realtor
absolutely.
office that you want to be with.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
which is great. And they recently just combined now, right? So tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm actually excited they combined because to the consumer, having KW Philly and KW Philadelphia is extremely confusing.
Yeah. They didn't know who they were going with.
Right. Before I joined, I didn't even understand because it's very confusing if who you're working with and which office you're in. So what happened is KW Philly and KW Philadelphia, two entirely different brokerages
Right.
owned by different people, run by different groups, combined, and now they're KW Empower, which is awesome. I really wish that they would have kept some Philly name.
I think they should have. I think we spoke about this last week with Dan.
I get it. It's hard.
It's more of a corporate name, right?
Mhm.
Like you have you're in Philly. You want people to know we're in Philly. So you keep it KW Philly or Philadelphia.
Right, but then I guess you'd have to favor one name over the other.
Well, they're basically the same name anyway, right? I mean, it's
exactly
Philly, Philadelphia. It's not really.
Maybe they should have just changed like the spelling. I don't know, made it like a cool spelling or something.
KW Empower sounds like it's from you're just in another corporate world or something, and you just work
right. There's no identification anymore to Philly, so we'll see. It's all very new.
Yeah,
we're all just learning.
Right.
We still have to transfer our licenses. That hasn't happened yet. So it's.
And what are we talking now? About 1,000 agents, I guess, combined?
Yeah. It must be a little over that because we have 500 at the KW Philly office. I assume Philadelphia had the same. So not all active though.
Right. Yeah. But how many would you say are active? Like people like you would know.
I think there are probably a solid 100
out
agents
of the 1,000
in each office. Probably 100 in each office. Probably 200 that are really active.
That are really active.
You have to remember too that both offices have really big teams, so it's those teams kind of you tend to forget that there are like 40 people on some teams.
Right. So we went to Jim Roach's office and did the podcast at his office.
Awesome.
And he has a tremendous team. I mean, just he went from nothing to something. And it felt like if they went overnight.
Yes.
You know, he shot from 0 to 40
to
50, which is crazy.
Right. And so even like that's a great example. Like all 50 of those agents are not super active. So it's like, let's just say 100 at each office that are super active, that are doing it full time. So
we roll on, right? So she's going through the pandemic. She's rocking and rolling. She does 100 unions at the blink of an eye, which is,
it's a lot of work.
Which is great, right? She gets all kinds of buyers in South Philly. I know about it because I do mortgages for them. South Philly buyers are some of the most challenging, I could say sometimes, depending on what you're running into. Not to put you guys down because I want to continue to do business here. But we do run into a lot of things. So Gen Z buyers, right?
Yeah.
Seems like you do a lot of them.
Yep.
Millennials and all that stuff.
Yep.
So tell us about those types of buyers and what's so unique that you see with that type of buyer and how you navigate them.
Yeah. So that was Gen Z and millennials, especially in South Philly, were pretty much my bread and butter until the interest rates went up.
Right. Well, you're young, so you're going to jive with that crowd.
Oh, absolutely. Me and baby boomers do not get along. For whatever reason, they do not see me as an authority. I get it, but boomers are my parents. For whatever reason, they don't see me as an authority or they don't take me seriously in this business, even though I know a lot more than most of them.
You sound very professional.
So,
did you show them your portfolio?
No, I didn't. I'm not that good at running around.
How dare you question me? I've flipped properties. I've sold properties. I've closed 100. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to bring your book with you.
Yeah, I should start doing that.
Right.
So then I just realized, I really jive well with Gen Z and millennials. I get them. I'm a millennial, so I completely get them. But that buyer pool, they are the biggest generation. The millennials were the biggest generation that there is. You have to think about boomers were the biggest generation. Well, they gave birth to us.
Right.
So if the biggest generation had 2 kids, then
Right.
now millennials are going to be the biggest
Sure.
group.
Right.
And then we are also coming of age where we can afford houses, right? So we're now the biggest buyer pool.
Right.
And
then you get the Gen Zers.
and then Gen Zers are really starting, they're not coming on with, I feel like, with as much debt as we millennials are. So like the Gen Zers at age 26 are starting to buy houses. And I love them because they really don't know what they're doing. And they know that we professionals who do it every day know more, and they trust
you.
us.
They
Yeah.
trust you. Well, they know you're a professional. I'm sure they do their research, right? They go online.
Exactly.
They see your reviews. They see your social media.
Yeah.
They see what you've closed. They know everything.
Right. So I love working with them because I can really guide them through everything. I can point out things in houses that they wouldn't catch, and they're great to work with. But the one thing about especially Gen Z and millennials is that a lot of them tend to want their parents' approval for everything. And I think that is...
No, you don't say.
That's
very weird.
Weird for me because like I never bought a house with my parents' approval. But like I get it. They want their parents' approval.
I'm going to be nice on this show, though. We have to stay nice, right? We have to keep this professional. We got to keep it nice. So, please keep going. Because I'm thinking things right now that could add on to that, but I'm not going to do that.
Well, I think, it's great. Obviously, they trust mom and dad. They trust
they do.
Their aunts and uncles. They want their opinions. But I've seen this over and over where the parents talk them out of houses that they really like because the parents don't necessarily like the house, and the kids feel like they have to get their parents' approval or that they have to go with the parents, especially if the parents are gifting them money for the purchase.
Which is almost a majority of deals.
Is a lot,
Yes.
So then they feel like I have to listen to what mom and dad says.
Right, because they're giving me the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then we have the dad who always feels like he's the home inspector. And, the parents often, even though they've only...
listen, they can make or break a deal.
Well, right, exactly. And also, the parents often have only sold 1 or 2 houses in their entire lives.
So how do they really know what they're talking about?
But they always want to kind of, advise their kids on negotiations.
Sure.
And, I do this every day as full time. I've sold over 100 units. So
I know what I'm
understand a little bit more of how it works than mom and dad who's last bought their house 20 years ago.
Sure.
So that's definitely
a huge challenge.
It's a challenge, but it's still my favorite age to
Type of
work
buyer.
with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're excited. They have so much to learn, and I love to educate and teach, as long as somebody's willing to listen.
You know a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't want to get into her social media yet because we have to literally blockade 10 minutes just to that today, or 15 minutes, because your social media is ridiculous. But your stuff as far as your guidelines. It seems like you really know your guidelines. You know what can and can't go, even on the mortgage side.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because I got to teach every day realtors, different things that go on in the mortgage business behind the scenes. And, that's not easy because a lot of them don't get it, nor do they want to know.
Yeah.
They want to sell the house.
Yeah.
You do the mortgage, Alex. Let me know when the deal's cleared to close, right? Don't mess with me until then. All right. I don't want any problems. Like they see my name come up on the phone. They don't want to answer because they know there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, that's it. But you seem to know your stuff on the mortgage side and the realtor side. Is that...
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah. So believe it or not, we agents get a ton of real estate questions, and I try to stay in my lane as much as possible. So I don't want to start telling somebody how much they qualify for.
Well, sure.
I would never do that.
Yeah, you can't go that far.
But
no. But I'm saying basic info.
But I want to know basic info. I always want to be educated. I will always seek out information. So I want, especially if you want to be in social media and you want to make cool memes. I mean, not memes, reels. You gotta come up with some information, so you need to know some stuff.
The word is cool. Like somebody had said that to me a couple weeks ago. They were like, Alex, people want to see cool stuff.
Yeah.
On
Well,
social
they want to see funny.
They want to be. They want it to be cool. Right. They want it to be funny.
Yeah.
They want it to be cool, and that's the way Gen Zers and millennials want to view you. They don't want to view you as this mortgage guy with a suit on, talking about rates and all. They wanted something that's cool. that they can relate to.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, which is sometimes not easier for the older guys like me. That's a problem.
Yeah.
It's probably easier for you, but I gotta bend sometimes and lay back and be cool, and it'll come easier.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think you could wear your suit and be the mortgage guy and give out facts, but just do it in 5-second increments.
Right.
And,
Something
something interesting, catchy.
Yeah, that they would like.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So, I got to go right to it then. All right. So let's talk about your social media. All right. So this is what got her on the show.
All right. Awesome.
I'm serious. Like, she does a ton of reels, a ton of TikToks, Instagram out the wazoo. You see her, like I'm telling you, go to her page. You're going to see all kinds of things about mortgages, real estate, selling, buying, guidelines, memes, you name it, it's on there.
Yeah.
How many followers do you have right now?
I have a little over 5,000, which is not nearly enough. That's like
5,000 is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, 5,000 to me
But those are
is
organic.
failure.
Those are organic followers, right?
Yeah.
You built that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a plus.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want it to be much further along. And so where I wanted it to be and where it is disappointing for me personally. So I'm pivoting
What are you trying
my
to get
strategy. 100,000 at the least.
You want to get to 100,000.
100,000 at the least.
Wow. All right. So what's all right. So, because you're going to have to coach me too, right? Because I try this stuff, right? I've even hired a marketer who's two marketers in the past who are young guys, young 20s, right?
Yeah.
They know their stuff. They come out of school for marketing, right? So that's what they do. They know they know the Instagram and the Facebook and all that stuff. And it's tough to build followers.
It is, yeah, especially in real estate.
Period.
Yeah.
So what's the secret?
All right. So Instagram. We're not talking about TikTok. We're just talking about Instagram. It's basically this ginormous neural network, and things keep moving. Right. So just imagine a huge neural network, and you post the video, and for whatever reason, that one goes viral, and another person could post the same exact video and it won't go anywhere.
So it's just the luck of the draw.
So kind of. It seems that the way I'm explaining it kind of seems that way, but it's basically this big neural network that just keeps shifting and changing. And so you kind of have to bob and weave with it. And if your content isn't being picked up, it's just not interesting. And so I had to learn that the hard way. And
I think everybody learns that the hard way. Yeah.
It's, real estate is such a great example because during COVID, house tours were the thing, and they did so well. So any real estate account that started during COVID, 2020 and 2021, they did really well.
Okay.
House tours were the thing. And then it just completely changed. Right now, funnies are in. Anything funny is really in. So there's a lot of
It seems like
factors.
everybody's doing the same thing.
See, that's the thing. And then right.
Like the lady dancing, she does it, she's turning and doing all this stuff, right? So,
right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
It seems like it's the same one, and then everybody's doing it.
Right. And see then we go back to the neural network then the algorithm sees that, and then they're like, we're not going to promote that stuff now. It's all the same. So the algorithm's always searching for new original content, something original, something that speaks to people. And so real estate is extremely saturated. So some of us could be putting out great content and you still won't take off because you're just not putting out content that resonates with people. You have to put out content that people want to click on, rewatch, share, and maybe they giggle at it and save it. That's what you want. And if you're not getting that, your content just isn't hitting it. So
and it never will.
Yeah. And so I was actually in that because I was like, I'm going to do property tours. I'm so good at them. I'm going to do property tours. And then I realized, I gave that a really long go, and I'm like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This is not doing me any favors. And then you really start to see that the Instagram algorithm shifted toward the funnies a lot. So you kind of always have to be on your feet and think of really good content.
Okay.
So there isn't.
So there's no one.
No, and I bought a course
I'm
that
sure.
would tell me like what to do from
Right,
another real
what
estate
to post
account.
and what to say.
And
Yeah.
it's just, I literally did everything she said. And then I was like, this isn't it. You cannot do it this way. It's constantly changing. So people want, oh, give me the 5 hashtags. It doesn't work that way. You have to be active, engaging on there, but your content is the number one thing. If people don't want to rewatch it, click on it.
Then it's not going to work.
Yeah, you just have to
How
think.
about Facebook?
Facebook Facebook has turned into the boomer space,
Right.
which is just really unfortunate because I joined Facebook when it first came on and it was only available to college students. And I was
Somebody's
a
a
college
little bit
student.
saltier. All right, this is why I told you I had her on, because it's when you dive into a social media person like this and you hit pain points like Facebook.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, so now it's none of the younger Gen Z is not on Facebook. Millennials are the last people.
Like
the elder millennials are now the last people on
like
Facebook.
I ask people all the time, I sent you a message on Facebook, didn't you get it? And the realtor will look at me like, Facebook?
Yeah.
Like, you think I checked my Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't even think I have Facebook. I don't know the last time I was on there,
But I will say that I have gotten a lot of business from Facebook because if you have a lot of friends on Facebook, that's how you stay top of mind to your sphere, your people.
Okay.
So if, that's how I can reach people that I went to elementary school with, that I haven't talked to in 20 plus years.
You're saying you have gotten business off of Facebook?
Absolutely. But not from my business page, from my personal page, because I'm posting things and people see that, oh, hey, she's in real estate.
And then what do? They DM you, I guess?
Exactly. They reach out, they call me, they reach out.
Yeah.
So if Facebook is phenomenal for business, but not for ads or like reels, right? They do have a reels section, but it's not the same as Instagram.
Yeah, nobody does it.
Facebook's phenomenal for your friends, your circle, to
Guess
keep
what
top
else is
of
good?
mind.
LinkedIn is good too.
LinkedIn is phenomenal.
LinkedIn, I've gotten business off of.
Unfortunately, I don't really utilize it because I was in New York City for a while. So all my professional circle is in New York City.
New York.
So I don't utilize it, but I should.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, we've posted on there. People have reached out to us and they want to refi, they want to buy.
Yes.
I mean, it's just out of nowhere.
Absolutely. LinkedIn is such a great place to network and apparently to date too now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've heard. I don't know. I've been married for a long time, but I've heard. I saw somebody post an article on Instagram that like LinkedIn is
I don't
new
know.
dating
Would you go
place.
to LinkedIn to go dating? I guess.
I have no idea what they do, but somebody posted this article and I thought it was so funny.
I guess nowadays, this is what you revert to. You say, let me go to LinkedIn tonight and see where I can land my next date. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a tip there that
yeah,
if you
for
didn't
those
know,
of you searching.
check out LinkedIn. Even you single guys and gals out there that are searching. All right, so let's move on. So your social media explodes. You get a lot of business. I would say, what share of business do you think you get off of social media? Just to, let's say out of 100 deals.
So nothing yet. You cannot get. I mean, I don't ever want to say you cannot. So you need to have a significant following to convert. So 5,000 is not gonna get you anything.
What if you just follow a bunch of people? Will they all follow you back? Is that the way to?
Sometimes that's a very old strategy.
Okay.
That's not organic growth, and so it's not really going to
get you
anywhere. But I have the people that I have had reached out to me on Instagram. They're not quite ready. They're just coming to my page to learn. Okay. So they're not quite ready. They're moving toward that. Right.
They're in your pipeline to
and then a lot of renters. So I need to grow. I definitely need to grow that following to convert.
Okay. I mean, you got like a landing page, I guess, that they would go to? Or?
Yeah, I have a link tree that has
they can fill out their info or whatever.
Home valuation for sellers and then another intake form for buyers. And I also love helping new real estate agents. So I also have an option for them too.
I think stories is sometimes even better than posting.
Oh,
like I'll see stories where I'll get 200-300 views on a story and 5 likes on the post.
Oh yeah, stories are great.
Stories I think are better sometimes.
Yeah. There are accounts that just run off stories.
Right.
Yeah, you have to have a large following.
You have to have a large following.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. We got to work on the followers. I mean, that's the key, I think, to
Is that
everything.
my phone? No.
Is that your phone?
Oh my God, it is. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. That's
I
all right.
totally thought it was
Real
off.
estate never stops. We know that.
I'm so
You know,
sorry.
The phone rings, it rings. It's fine. No problem. So, all right, so let's move on. I want to get a little serious now with these bidding wars that are going on.
Yes.
We're back into it big time. So if you are in the market right now, this weekend was one of my busiest to start off the year than I've seen in a while. Like I was busy on Saturday
Yeah.
and Sunday. We were twiddling our thumbs in November and December, as you know, was pretty much dead. And then it seems like we just went right full on speed in the middle of December up until now with these rates coming down.
Yep.
That, we've really broken loose. The bidding wars have gotten to a point where I'm getting people calling me saying, do I really need to go $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over? And guess what? The answer is yes.
Absolutely.
We're back to that again.
Yeah.
Kind of never really went away.
Yeah, it never went away.
Right?
In the suburbs,
but
never,
it felt like it went away a little bit because
Mhm.
it slowed down
Mhm.
and the rates were so high that
Yeah.
you weren't getting that amount of people that even wanted to buy, period.
Yeah.
But now it seems like everybody jumped back in as we got into the new year. The rates went down and we're seeing a lot of action on bidding wars. So what I want to ask you is, and it's the $1 million question because people ask me it, but I'm not a realtor. How do you win a bidding war?
Oh, that is my area of expertise.
There we go.
All right.
Right?
So, interestingly enough, when you have a couple of listings in the suburbs, you see exactly.
Suburbs is a different animal
Yeah.
than Philly.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
absolutely.
Right.
So actually in the beginning of COVID, it was 20, 30K over asking.
Okay.
And then in the last 8 months, really almost a year, it really went up to like 50, 75K over asking. So it really changed.
So it went crazy
Interest
again.
rates went up, but
Yes.
so did the
prices.
because
The inventory.
everyone's just trying to beat out everybody else.
Yeah.
So you have to get comfortable with going at least 20K over asking. But
So do you advise your buyers right off the bat, we got to go in 20 over?
it really depends on the area and the price of the home. If it's and the house. So if it's a nice house that everybody wants, I'm going to tell them
Right off
this
the
is
bat.
the range that you need to go over. But you have to be comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with this, and don't do it.
Yeah.
I always say, is this house a 9 or 10 for you? If it's a 9 or 10 for you,
You
then
gotta
go
go all
all
in.
in.
You
I
gotta
say
go
you
all in.
got to put all your eggs in the basket.
Right. Even 30 over, 40 over, wherever it may be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's 70K over. I mean, it really depends how nice the house
Yeah.
is.
70K
Yeah.
over.
And if you're going into the $600,000-$700,000 price range, 100,000 over is the norm.
100,000 over,
Yeah,
which is
right.
ridiculous.
I know. So you have to go in really high, as high as you can. There are so many buyers who are hesitant.
Isn't this putting us in really a mess here? Like that we're not going to ever get out of.
I'm not sure because all those people who are doing that are 20% down. They all have equity in it. So I don't know how it's going to play out for them. But I always tell people, you got to think of this. If you're only going to be in it for 2-3 years, then you shouldn't buy. But every situation is different. But you have to go in really high as you can. You have to offer to cover all inspection repairs.
Okay.
Or waive inspections. I never ever recommend waiving inspections.
Good.
Never ever
This is a good
recommend
woman.
waiving inspections.
A good woman. A good person. Good woman. All right.
So okay.
Right.
Interesting thing is doing
I'm
both
listening.
PA
I
and New
know.
Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
In New Jersey,
They want you to waive
no
inspections.
one waives inspections.
But they want you to, though.
Well, every seller wants you to waive inspections, but no, in New Jersey, buyers do not waive inspections. The only people who put in offers with waiving inspections are PA agents.
Really?
Who
I didn't realize that.
Yes. In Pennsylvania, though, it's the opposite. It's like
I feel like it's
half
I feel like
of
it's
the people
everybody
waive
waiving
inspections. It's the Pennsylvania burbs. I don't know who started it, but it's like the norm. In Pennsylvania, most of the buyers are waiving inspections. In New Jersey, no. And I don't know how it happened, but that's the difference in the market. So if you're shopping in Pennsylvania in the burbs, you have to go very high over asking. You're competing with people who are waiving inspections. And if you can't waive inspections, then you need to offer to cover $20,000-$30,000 in inspection repairs. And that's a whole discussion.
Right. And then I got to assign an appraisal.
And then the third piece is you got to cover the entire appraisal gap.
Thank you. which is,
which a lot of people can't do. But this is how you win. You want to win a bidding war.
So I got to go 100 over
yeah.
and
you got to
do another 20 on top of that in case of the prices less, or 25, whatever.
Yeah, right. But if you're shopping for a $400,000 house, you don't.
You're not going to need to do that. Right.
Although to be fair, I had an offer in on an Abington house in the summer, and my buyers went $70K over asking, and it sold for $100K over asking, which was insane. But it was priced really, really well, and I think that's why it got so high.
You like dealing with Jersey realtors better than PA realtors?
No, PA realtors all day.
Really?
Yes. New Jersey doesn't have standards where we're all being taught the same things. And so I call New Jersey or South Jersey the wild, wild west. The realtors really, they're not knowledgeable enough. And it's not an offense to the real estate agents. It's really a commentary on the brokerage and the standards. So a lot of them don't know enough about the basics. They don't understand the contracts. Which
turns from the training from the office.
And because Pennsylvania has boilerplates for everything. The contract is everything is in that contract clearly spelled out. There's an addendum for everything. New Jersey really prefers that you use attorneys, and so they don't really have everything laid out clearly. And so New Jersey real estate agents is like the wild, wild west, where a lot of them are just doing their own thing. So I will, and they're not as cooperative.
This is good feedback here, because I deal with a lot of Jersey agents too, right?
So which ones do you prefer?
I made a lot of, okay. So it's a two-part question there, but I'm going to say I started in Jersey. Like
Me too.
My business was all Jersey, right? 20 years ago. Then I moved into the city 20 years ago, and I made a lot of friends here.
Yeah.
And you're right. Now dealing with these agents versus dealing with over there, they're a little bit more, you know what it is? We're more fast paced here. They're more, you got to be in the game. You got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
Versus there, I think they're a little bit more, they're not that fast, 100 miles an hour. Like, we got to get the deal done. This is how you win it.
They're not as cooperative.
It's a different person. Right.
Exactly. And they're not as cooperative. I find that the Jersey agents tend to have their fisticuffs up and want to start a fight, when I'm like, we're all trying to get to the same goal.
Yeah.
While also serving our client's best interest. But as soon as I got my PA license, I was like, wow,
total
PA
different.
agents are just so much nicer and more cooperative. It's so great.
There's a lot that goes on in PA too. So, it's a small community.
Yeah.
You don't want to burn a bridge here, right? Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, I would say that's more common. Everybody knows everybody more here, where in New Jersey, it doesn't feel like that. So,
right. It's a different aspect. Right.
Yep.
So, all right. So you win a bidding war, which is not easy to do.
Yeah.
But there's no bidding wars in Philly right now, right? I mean, what do you?
No, not in Philly. If you looking for a deal, come to Philly.
Right. Where in Philly should I go right now to get the best deals?
South Philly.
South Philly.
South Philly's where it's at. We have so much inventory. 19148, which is, most of Passyunk, Melrose,
sure.
Not Melrose. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Melrose is 45. Passyunk is always hot because it's Passyunk. But if you go a little bit further south to Lower Moy-Mensing, Whitman, parts of Pensport, there's so much inventory. So they're running at about 6 months of inventory, which, 6 months is considered a super balanced market. And if you're getting anywhere close to zero, you're in a super seller's market. But really 6 months of inventory, it's not a balanced market. It's a strong buyer's market.
Is that because people are running out of the city, you think?
Well, so remember I said South Philly first-time home buyers were my bread and butter, and then they disappeared with the interest rates. They can't afford it. So they can't, their rents are much lower than their mortgage would be.
Buying a house, right?
Yeah. When the rates were lower, their mortgages were much lower than their rent.
It was easier
and
to
so
qualify.
it was, so it made sense. But there's been, some pockets of 4.8. There's been some crime. And so maybe that's a part of it too. But I mean, there's plenty of crime everywhere throughout the city, I feel like, and
That's
people are
true.
still buying.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
South Philly
I
just
think
has
the,
so
I think
much
the magic
inventory.
number for interest rates are the fives.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fives.
my
Yep.
opinion is once these rates really steady fives, like 5.5,
Yeah.
5.25, we're rolling.
I agree. I think
And
that's when
just
we're going to
stays
get
there.
the first time South Philly
They're gonna
buyers
come
out.
back.
They're going to
Yes.
come back.
Yes.
And so 45, 19145, 19148, 47, and 46. Those are my 4 main zip codes. They have
South Philly.
they have between 4 and 6 months of inventory, which means that there's plenty of inventory, not a lot of demand, but there's so much inventory that buyers really do have the upper hand. Now, when I say that, I don't mean offer 100K below asking. That's not going to get you anywhere. But
No, really, because I was going to call you after the show and say, "Can you hook me up with a deal?" With, I saw it was up for 300. Maybe I can get it for 2.
right. So yeah, that South Philly is, where to get the deal, especially if you can buy something along Broad, because those areas are always going to be.
The problem where I'm at in 4-5, they still jack the prices a little too high.
That's why they sit there for 6 months, because every South Philly seller thinks that their 1980s last update
is worth 650,000, right?
Oh yeah,
I
see it all the time.
I know. I mean, and I try to tell them too, because I live there. I'm saying, listen, you're never going to be able to get rid of this thing for 600,000.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, you don't understand what I put in this thing.
Exactly.
You don't know what I did to this thing. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right. What they did to it 40 years ago, too.
I did a refinance for a guy, and he said the house value is 650. It came in at 450. Okay, so he screamed at me like, "You just blew me up."
It was a boomer, right?
Oh,
yes,
total. Just rip me. You are crazy. Your company stinks. I'll never use Green Tree again. I'm done. They just don't want to hear it.
Yep.
It's worth 650. You can't get me 650. I'll go to the credit union at the corner and they'll give me the 650. Sure they will. No, they won't. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, did he go? I want to know.
He wound up going with, I had to reduce the loan amount to 3, whatever, to make 80% of the loan to value, and we closed the deal.
Oh, so he didn't go to the credit union.
No. No. He ripped me for a week or whatever. And then of course he must have talked to other people, and they hear and they see, oh, it really isn't worth that.
Yeah.
Maybe you talk to somebody in the bank and they said, no, they're right.
Yeah.
And boom, he came back. Let's close the deal.
Well, do you have internal appraisers?
Correct.
We do.
Talk to them.
Okay.
I mean, we can't go too far, right? So with a conventional appraisal, you have to order it through the appraisal management company. That's picked by the company, right? So they're in a round robin.
Right, but they're separate. They're their own. They're a separate entity.
And then FHA, we order the appraiser directly with the appraiser, right? So it doesn't go through the appraisal management system.
Okay.
We literally just send the order directly to the appraiser. We can't tell them what to do either, right? So we can't say, I need 650,000.
Absolutely. I was going to say they are
people
independent
think we can do that
with their own license.
Correct.
And
they don't want to lose their license. So they're not just going to say, oh, well, Alex Taberne has been with Green Tree for 25 years. He's awesome. What number do they need? 650,000.
Yeah.
Let's just give him 600. I mean, it can't happen. That's not the way the world is.
Right.
The way the world is they'll lose their license. I'll lose my license. Green Tree will be in trouble. I mean, everybody, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. I don't think people are realizing, what's going on with the values, and they're really not as high as they were, especially now.
Yes. And the same in the burbs. The ones that are overpricing are also sitting longer, which in the suburbs means like 1 to 2 weeks. In Philly, sitting longer means 3 to 6 months. But they're also sitting and they're not going to get as great terms because you overpriced. And so now you're not getting I'll cover all inspection repairs. I'll cover the appraisal gap.
Yeah.
So gotta price your house right.
Yeah. There you go. This is experience talking here. I mean, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to touch on new realtors getting in the business.
Yeah.
There's a lot that are getting out, right? Unfortunately, because they can't survive the downturn, which is a shame. But then I do see ones that are getting in.
Yes.
New ones that are, they're starting at the bottom of the market here. And I think that if they stick it out now, they're really going to see a good market coming up.
Yeah.
When these rates go back down. What's your tips on new realtors getting back into it? What would you say to survive this last little blip? I think because we're going to see the beginning of the light here, which we already are. I think, like I said, this past weekend, I was more busier than I've been in a while.
Yeah.
What do you think?
New realtors just entering, just got licensed. Well, first, I think most people that are getting licensed think that they're going to sign with a brokerage and someone's going to give them leads. And they don't realize that we are on our own for the most part, unless you join a team that gives you leads.
Right.
And you have to think and operate like a small business. And I always say you are running a little store and you're going to have to go get inventory and you're going to have to market that store and get people in the door to buy your product. Except this time it's a service. And there are a lot of us doing the same service. So it's really competitive and you have to go find your own business.
And then the realtors are even turning to us for the leads too.
Yes. And and a lot of mortgage people are turning to us too, for leads. So,
I do a ton of co-marketing.
Leads. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I have realtor.com going, Ylopo, a couple other things going.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I see a lot of agents that get in that have a really great social network, that have a great sphere, and they don't utilize it. And I don't know why. That's literally the best way to do business.
A lot of them are embarrassed.
They're embarrassed. I was too. And I really had a very
They don't want to
tiny
seem like
sphere.
they're salesperson. Or whatever.
So my best advice is figure out what you like to do. Some of you are going to be really good at cold calling. Go for it. Some of you are going to be really good at sales, that salesy approach of door knocking and cold calling. Go for it. If that's your strength, that's something that can be taught at a lot of your brokerages. A lot of the big national programs like Tom Ferry, KW has a great program for that to teach you really how to be salesy, do the cold calls and do that stuff. Good. That's not my personality. If that's not yours, that's okay. Right. There's a way to succeed in this business for everyone. I love giving gifts and making people feel special. Okay. And that's what I did. I dropped off little Valentine's Day is coming up. The first thing I did was I did little candy boxes. Went to the dollar store and got those little mailboxes I stuffed them with candy and left a little Valentine's Day message. And
something different.
Yeah, something to make you stand out, something to reach out to the people you care about. It could be as simple as a handwritten note to 20 people that you know. Yeah. It doesn't have to be salesy. You just have to put yourself out there. Market yourself on social media. And by market, I mean post so that the people you know you. If you don't have a network, that could be a way to get to know other people. I mean, there's so many ways to succeed. I bought leads too because it was easy. Right. And I was good at it. I was good at the conversion until the rates went up and then my entire
didn't matter.
Then everything went away. But so new agents who are getting started, you want to figure out what prospecting you enjoy, and don't forget that you have to tell people about
good old-fashioned hustling.
That's it. That's the hustling. Yeah,
you got to hustle. That's it.
Yeah. In summary, what I was trying to say is you got to hustle. Whether it's cold calling,
that's the man's way of saying hustle. You got to hustle.
You got to hustle.
Work hard, right? I mean, but seriously though, you got to work.
Yeah, and sometimes, which is what I did, I door knocked, I cold called. I don't like that. I was in a small office. I started at Caldwell. I would raise my hand for anytime somebody needed help. Yes, I'll do it. Yeah. You need me to host an open house? I'll do it. I'll do it.
People like that.
And then the agents notice you and then they throw you some business. Yeah. So there's so many ways to succeed. You have to think like an entrepreneur and you got to find a way. If you can't, if the traditional ways don't work for you, then you got to find a different way. Be creative and
why not just jump in on a team? Does that work?
That works, but
you still got to hustle.
You absolutely. I mean, I know agents who are on teams, you're giving up 50% of your commission and you're running around doing a lot of business, but for half the money. Yeah. But if you don't know how to get leads, that's totally worth it. Not for me. I like to be the top dog. I don't want to work for anybody else.
Well, your experience.
Right. Sure. But some people do really well on teams. So there's so many ways to succeed and you got to find what works best for you. Teams are great for some people, not great for others. A lot easier to get business if you're on a team that feeds you leads versus a solo agent for sure.
Okay.
But there's so many ways to succeed. You have to hustle. Every day has to be a hustle.
All day.
Yeah. You have to think like an entrepreneur and hustle.
Do you work on the weekends?
Absolutely.
Nighttime?
Yeah, all the time. On vacation.
Yeah.
I worked on my honeymoon.
And your husband, he understands, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, he's an entrepreneur too, and he works. Actually, there was a funny reel that I shared in my stories today of this girl doing these circles of like, when you're an entrepreneur, you just work like this around the clock.
So he's working nonstop too.
He's working nonstop. Yeah, I'm entering the stage in my business where I'm trying to have more balance. But if you have
I think one of the biggest problems is what do I do every day? Like, the agents and loan officers really don't know what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
The minute they wake up to the minute that they go to sleep, right? It just doesn't come to them.
Yes.
Some people it comes easy to. Some people are natural hustlers.
Absolutely.
And they make it rain when it's not raining, right?
Yeah, that's my husband. Yeah.
Right? They're natural hustlers. That's it.
Yep.
Then some people they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning and they need to be told what to do.
Yes.
Right?
That's the majority of the people.
Majority of the world.
Yes.
Is that right? I mean, which I hate
across every industry.
Across every industry. Like, what am I supposed to do next? And then if you're not telling them that this needs to be done, then they're just sitting idle.
Yes.
Until they're told what is to be done next. They're not trying to find something. The problem is in real estate, you have to find something that makes it rain. And if you don't, then it's never just going to come to you.
Absolutely.
Unless you're in the middle of a pandemic and the rates are 2%. That's about it. Right?
Yeah, but
even then,
you and I know plenty of agents who were in that environment and did not do well. Because
it was hard not to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. You'd have to just be sitting and doing nothing. They were falling out of the sky.
Yeah. But you still had to show, still make it where people remember that you were.
Yeah, you were
an agent. Yeah.
All right. So my last question is, what are the goals for 2024 other than, what did she say? 100,000 followers, right? So we got that down. 100,000 followers by December of 2024.
Yeah. So,
right, which is awesome.
My big goal is to really grow and expand social media and really, I want to expand my network. I want to branch out to agents across the country and connect buyers and sellers with agents across the country. I want to get into more educating buyers and sellers in general. And I want to grow
my question
social
is,
media.
why you should build a team. My
husband keeps saying that.
You seem like you're more of a leader type of.
Yeah.
You probably could lead a really good team. I mean,
I would. You know what? I would rather advise new agents, and I have that as an offering on my Linktree on Instagram. If you need help as an agent in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I would love to help you. We can help mentor you can give me a referral fee or whatever. We could arrange something, but I would love to help them because a lot of them just don't know what they're doing. But with the teams, like I don't want to be providing leads, that kind of stuff. But
I understand.
No, I appreciate it. But
more like a teacher situation.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Which is.
Yeah. So personally, I'm just focusing on social media. I want to get a lot of leads. I want to hit new people that I don't have access to.
Yeah.
I just want to meet more buyers and sellers through social media. And
what do you think is going to happen in the 2024 market here? Are we going to blow up in
blow up meaning like market crash? Is that what you're asking?
No market crashes. All right.
Oh, you mean blow up?
We never said the loan officers don't speak of market crashes, right? We don't. Those are bad memories we've been through.
Yeah. You mean
I'm talking about blow up like in a good way. Like, Is it gonna? Are we gonna? It's got to be a better year than 2023. I say that to every guest for the last 11 weeks. It's got to be a better year than 2023. 2023, we've really seen, I think, the bottom, and we can only go up from here.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Is that?
I don't think we've seen the bottom of pricing. That's the problem. And we don't have inventory. So I looked at some numbers this week, and Cherry Hill.
Not Cherry Hill.
Is is 1 month of
Yeah,
inventory.
there's nothing there.
Audubon and Collingswood are below 1 month, which means there are 9 homes for sale in Collingswood.
What about Marlton and all that?
They're the same. There's same as
Nothing.
Cherry Hill. I mean, Collingswood has 9 houses for sale right now, and half of them are overpriced and have been sitting there.
So there's nothing.
There's nothing. There's nothing for sale. So
Jersey's there's nothing. Everybody
Pennsylvania suburbs is pretty much the same. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on the town, but we don't have inventory to meet the demand. So if the interest rates go into the 5s, and I don't think they will, because that would set inflation high again. And so I think our inflation numbers would be bad again. If they go into the 5s, everyone is going to be buying.
Well, there's
Now
nothing to buy though.
There's nothing to buy except Philly. Philly, there's a lot to buy.
Will they come back into the city then?
I hope so. I hope so. So, right. So that's where we are.
Right.
People want to buy.
Right.
Some people have the money. Some people don't. People want to buy. If they go down to 5%, everyone's going to want to buy, but there's no inventory. But what we're hoping for is that all our boomer friends and parents,
which there's a lot of them.
right. We're hoping that
Especially in South Philly.
if the rates go down to 5, we're hoping that a lot of the boomer generation will sell their houses, but that's still not enough. We generally don't have enough housing to meet the growing population and the demand. So I think it's going to be a better year for sure, because interest rates did go down a little, even though they're actually the same or up higher from where we were in January of 2022.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But they're still lower than the 8%, 8.25% range that we saw 3 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
think the suburbs are going to be back again to crazy bidding wars, which they have been all
They already
along.
are.
Yeah. Again, we're not, by the way, we've been in that terrible inventory status for 3 years with 1% inventory.
Oof.
Like, I'm not 1%, 1 month supply.
Problem
of
is that she
inventory.
knows her numbers too well. They're painfully truthful numbers.
Yeah.
That just hurt to even hear, but it's true.
Right.
There's no inventory.
There's no
And
inventory.
I think that's what
so
no one really talks about. Like everybody says, oh, the rates are low and everything's low and everything's great. But you're right. The truth of the matter is that there's not enough houses to buy.
yeah. So people thought, oh, I have these conversations weekly. Oh, really? We still have bidding wars? Yes, but interest rates are 8%.
They don't realize it. Right.
Well, yes, interest rates are 8%. So what that means is instead of 50 buyers for that house, there's now 20
Yeah.
or 15 or 10, which even 5 buyers for one house is extremely competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's,
That's what they don't realize.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
And that's like, it's not a secret. It's just, they don't televise that. It's not really social media. Like, no, there's no inventory.
yeah.
It's more about the rates went down, time to buy, or the rates went up, slow down.
Yeah.
Or, they're not saying anything about, the rates went down, but there's no inventory.
Right. And we're talking about the suburban market in Philly. Because if the rates go down to 5% in Philly, I think we're going to get a lot of South Philly first-time home buyers out again.
Sure we are.
But
That
in the
have
suburbs,
the inventory to buy. So
Yeah.
we're going to get busy.
in the suburbs, we're also going to get a lot more buyers enter the market, except that there's no inventory. So we're going to have a problem there.
Yeah.
But maybe other parts of the country, maybe they have a lot of inventory. I don't know.
Right. Well, you're going to fix it. All right. We need you.
We need Toll
we need-
Brothers, please come
need-
to South Jersey and build.
That's a whole other issue, right? They need building going on.
And there's no land
there's
in
no land to
Jersey,
build,
yeah.
Right?
Everyone keeps talking about people leaving Jersey, but Jersey's overpopulated.
Yeah, where are they going now? I mean, at Florida?
Yeah. And then they're coming back because they're like, just kidding. New Jersey's awesome.
Which is, to me,
I think New Jersey's great.
I think New Jersey's great too. I think the property taxes have gotten insane.
Yeah, but
New
Delaware
Jersey.
County's like right there.
It's the same
with
thing.
it,
Right,
yeah.
right. Go to Delaware.
Yeah.
I've done deals in
That's
Delaware.
another tiny
The taxes are
state.
so
Yeah.
low. $2,000
But
a
we
year.
have the jobs, like between New York City, North Jersey, Philly, King of Prussia, and Cherry Hill. We really have
Oh, we're the hub of the job.
a good chunk of the jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason 9
Yeah.
million people live in New Jersey, even though everyone likes to talk poorly of New Jersey. There's a reason 9 million
Is it
people.
9 million living there?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that. It's a
9
lot.
million people in a little state. Yeah.
Well, they love Jersey.
yeah.
some
Well,
reason.
we have everything. I mean, I talk as if I'm from Jersey, but I
Right.
talk as if I
Hey,
live
you better
there.
watch out. You're
I'm
you're
a Philly girl now.
you're in the city here, buddy. All right, we know where you live. All right,
I
you
know
can't.
so many people in the suburbs talk so much crap about Philly.
You don't think I get it every day?
Oh,
The
yeah.
minute they hear, they're like, "Hi, Alex, how are you? Where are you from? I'm with Greentree Mortgage. Really? Where do you live? Philadelphia.
Yeah. Ugh.
What?
Do you get
You
mugged
live
and
in
shot
Philly?
every
Yeah.
day?
What do you dodge bullets? Do you even come out of your house?
Yeah.
Oh, what, your
How
kids
do
go
you
to school
live
there?
there?
What do they do? What do you drive them 50 miles to go to school? Because I know they don't go to school in Philadelphia.
Meanwhile, my entire block is like
Yeah.
professionals,
Yeah,
doctors,
yeah,
lawyers,
yeah.
and they all have little kids.
Right. Well, Meredith is over there, right? So that's a good area that you're in. It's got
Yeah.
top schools in the area.
Yeah,
In the city,
absolutely.
you have some of the best schools.
Yep.
You know. So
Yeah. Philly's where it's at. You want a deal? Come to Philly.
right. Basha, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having
You
me.
did awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the knowledge.
Yeah,
You got a lot of
absolutely.
info. Check her out, right? Go on her social media. I'm not lying. It's good stuff.
Yeah, Basha Bubel Realtor.
There you go, right? And KW Empower, though we'll just say Philly for
Yeah.
now because
We're still
she's in
KW Philly.
Yeah, she's still KW,
Yeah.
right? It hasn't changed.
Yeah, it hasn't
officially.
changed yet. Yeah.
Right, so she's still KW Philly, which we'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens there. But thank you
Philly.
for coming
Thank
on.
you so much.
And we will talk soon. Check out the show Wednesday, 9 a.m., every Wednesday at 9 a.m. in all air. And any questions, I'm always here. Let me know. Thanks.